Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's another week. It's time for the Screen Sermon Podcast, episode number 31. We're now in the 30s. Can you believe that? Anyway, it's the Boon, and I'm here with Josh. Welcome back, Josh.
I'm happy to finally be back to the Steamed Salmon Podcast. I don't have a fucking gimmick yet. I suppose this is season 3. Did you announce the next arc yet?
I haven't. At least I don't. No, I didn't. It got all messy. Those of you who listened to the TMNT version versus version part 2, if we did talk about what the next arc is going to be, it was at the end of the show when, and I cut basically the entire second half of the show off because we lost Inky's audio, and so it was kind of psychotic sounding. It was just me talking to myself and like laughing, and like, it sounded really upsetting, really. So I had to cut that and ended up having to record a little solo piece to tack onto the end. So if we did talk about it, it got cut, so nobody actually heard it. So we'll go ahead and announce it here in a few minutes. So Josh and I are back. It's that time. As we're recording this, it's November 1st, so it's time for us to record the Coming Soon for November 2023, where Josh and I talk about our top 3 most anticipated releases of the month. Throw in some honorable mentions. Usually these are pretty unrehearsed and off the cuff kind of things, and we just kind of have fun with it. But I wanted to start off, first of all, I wanted to give you the floor, if you don't mind. I wanted you to go ahead and talk about what you've got going on right now, so we can highlight it from the top.
All right. I just wanted to promote an anthology book that just came out yesterday that features something I wrote. It's called Happy Holidays, and it's published by Hellbound Books. I'll provide a link for that if you feel like checking it out. It's a bunch of different horror stories by a bunch of different indie authors, all about various holidays, including some that I had never heard of until I read the book, because they're not all American. So yeah, so that was fun to do. Link will be down there wherever you may find links.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and tack that on to the video, and yeah, so you know how we like to promote, taking in other cultures, like in their films and things like that. So this is another opportunity to do that, learn about, get to read some scary stories that are centered around some other cultures' holidays as well as American ones. So, yeah, I'm excited to give it a read, and I'm glad that you were able to kind of put it out there for the folks listening to this. So we'll make sure to get the link down there in the description so folks can find it.
Yes, support indie. Support indie movies, indie books, Indie Jones.
Yeah, 100%.
All the indies.
Yeah, definitely indie.
Indie
Hartwell, she's pretty talented.
Damn, that was a good call.
the Indianapolis Colts, if you're into that.
Not them. Raiders.
The Indy 500. That's evidently a race that they do.
Support your indies. Check out random off-the-wall streaming services like the one that we bring up every fucking week, Tubi, but also Shudder and Screambox and places like that. Freevee, that's another free one that's got random shit on it. So,
yep.
A lot of gems in there.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, excellent segue opportunity, and I thank you for it. All of our indie streaming friends out there, and they don't know that we're friends, but one day maybe they will. Tubi TV and Pluto and Freevee, that happens to be where our next film that we will be reviewing can be found, because we are starting the Sean Baker arc next week, and he is we'll get into it more obviously next week, but I think he's, at least to me anyway, he's a lesser known person. His name only kind of got brought into the forefront of my mind recently. I've never seen any of his films, and we're lucky enough that we're going to kick the Sean Baker arc off next week with Starlet. And right now Starlet can be found on, I think, at least Tubi and then I believe Freevee as well. Either that or it's Pluto and Freevee. But anyway, so yeah, some of our indie streaming services that are out there still coming in the clutch to help screen sermon, help us get the movies out there. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. Josh, we kind of were chatting about it prior to making any decisions or sharing decisions with one another, but you had told me that you sent me your films quite a while ago, but you were saying November was looking pretty dour in general.
Yeah.
And so, of course, I went through and I found a handful of things that I liked, or that piqued my interest. I also watched a bunch of trailers that looked like absolute shit. But anyway, so yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started with my honorable mentions. And I'm going to go ahead and set my 5-minute timer. So those of you who this is your first time, commonly, Josh and I will make our selection for our top 3 most anticipated releases of the month, but then there's always a few stragglers that we also were interested in, but maybe just didn't quite peak it into that top 3, so we like to at least highlight them. Some of the earlier versions of these episodes would go really long because we would end up doing pretty much full descriptions of our honorable mentions and not even sticking to the top 3 rules that we set for ourselves. So the new rule is if you have honorable mentions, you got to get them out in 5 minutes. So here I go. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, so starting off, there was a black and white kind of apocalyptic sci-fi kind of thing called Divinity. It looked absolutely batshit crazy. It has something to do with drugs. It's oriented around drugs and like a drug dealer. There also seems to be a thing about like bodybuilders. There's a lot of really huge dudes, and it looks like a fever dream of a film. I really don't even know how to describe it, but it looks very interesting, and the black and white style kind of caught my eye. So that's one of the ones where when it hits streaming, I'm going to see it just to see what the hell's going on with it. Coming up next is The Marsh King's Daughter. Evidently it centers around a story of a criminal known as the Marsh King who kept his wife and eventually his daughter in captivity out in the marsh, and she managed to escape, but now it seems that he's back. I don't know if he was presumed dead or what, but anyway, there's some kind of mystery around this whole thing. But Ben Mendelsohn is in it. That's specifically why it stood out to me. I'm a big fan of him, and he's the Marsh King. He's the titular Marsh King in this. Daisy Ridley plays the daughter. I'm not too keen on her, but, you know, it'll be interesting to see her do something different outside of Star Wars. Cher? You know, it has a question mark at the end. There's a film called Cher, another sci-fi. Looks like an episode from Black Mirror. Not that I've watched tons of that show, but it stood out to me as something that would appear on there. And effectively, it seems to be about a dude who's stuck in a room with nothing but a camera and a screen to kind of interact with. And it turns out there are a number of other people who are in the exact same position that he's in. I don't know if it's an experiment or some kind of prison or something like that. But if pretty much the only thing that he has to do is entertain. He needs to entertain the audience by whatever means necessary. So like there's a person in one of the other cells that sings. There's a person that does yoga and stuff like that. And the dude, like the main character, he seems to just like hurt himself on purpose. Like he'll do like flip bumps on the concrete floor and hurt himself. It's really strange looking.
It's just YouTube.
Yeah. And it very much seemed like the entire time the film kind of has this border around it as if you're looking at it through a computer screen. And I remember thinking to myself, now if the entire movie, 90 minutes or whatever of this film, that never goes away, I will be super happy, because they would have stuck with the gimmick the whole time. So the premise was interesting. It kind of has a Fallout kind of level of technology, like the blank black screen with the green, old looking text on it and stuff like that. I don't know, it looked good. The Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Honestly, this just boils down to enjoying the franchise as a whole previously. Maybe not necessarily, the films weren't exactly mind-blowing, but the books were good. I like the lore behind it, even though it obviously rips from Battle Royale and stuff like that. I'm not a Rachel Ziegler fan, and I know she's one of the leads in this, so I'm hoping she can kind of win me over. But getting a little prequel thing about the villain Snow would be cool. Trolls band together. My family and I are going to go to the theater and see it, so of course it's got to make my honorable mentions list. I'm excited to go see it with the kids. We've liked the first 2 Troll films, listened to the soundtracks and stuff, so looks like a good time. And then Apple TV Plus's series Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. I love Godzilla. Always in for some kaiju stuff. Looks interesting. And yeah, looking to check it out. And that's pretty much it. That's my honorable mentions. There you go. 4 minutes and 8 seconds. I went kind of long.
I don't think I will. I tend to wrap these up way quicker because I can just sum up, and this is the thing about a thing, Yeah. But
all right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, and go.
I have 4 for you here today.
Okay.
The first one is called The Loch Ness Horror. It is the first horror movie that has come out in some time, as far as I'm aware, that features the Loch Ness fucking monster as the main antagonist, as the creature.
Okay.
And although the CGI in some shots looks shoddy, I'll watch it just for the sake of it doing something cool and different. So that gets a thumbs up for me.
All right.
Next, I have Walden, which is about a court stenographer that turns into a vigilante because he's running out of time to live. So he's getting vengeance on people who have escaped the justice system. It's a thriller. Third, I have There's Something in the Barn, which is, I believe it's a co-production between Norway and the US about a barn elf. So there's a fucking elf that lives in this kid's barn, and you're not allowed to go into barn and screw it up because the elf lives in that barn. And it's a horror movie, and about I assume that's an actual like myth there, but I'm not too well versed in Norwegian myth, as I figure most people probably aren't either. Unless you're Norwegian, I guess. But shout out to our Norwegian audience.
Yeah. Hello, everyone.
So, that's not talking to anybody. But yeah, that looks cool. It's another new interesting thing. It premiered at Fantastic Fest a little bit ago, and some people seem to like it. I didn't hear too much about it though, because everyone was ranting and raving about Toxic Avenger. So
okay.
Finally, I have The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes as well. I like the Hunger Games books. I still haven't seen both Mockingjay films. I will soon because I'm currently rereading them. I have Songbirds and Snakes sitting like right next to me. So I'll give that a read, and then I'll go to the theaters to see that, as well as one of the other 3 things I'm going to mention. Well, 2 things that I'm going to mention.
All right.
So those are my honorable mentions for November.
Sounds good. So yeah, okay. So I didn't look into this enough, clearly, but so Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is not just a film. They did write that book.
Yes, it's the 4th book. It's the prequel book.
Okay.
It came out in 2020, I believe.
Okay, so it's been out there for a bit. All right. That's just me not following up. Gotcha. Okay. So we'll go ahead and get started. And, some time ago, it may have been actually last month, we just decided it's probably best that Boon starts leading off his films because he doesn't quite understand the assignment, and ends up picking some dumb shit that, after talking to Josh for 3 minutes about it, we come to the conclusion that I don't even want to see the shit anymore. So we might be starting off with one of those. Let's find out. So my number 3 film that I'm most anticipating for November is Your Lucky Day. It is an American action thriller film written and directed by Dan Brown. Not that Dan Brown. He's Daniel Brown. I'm sorry. I'm shortening his name. So the premise of this, I think, is the most interesting. That and then the star. So effectively, a guy that's down on his luck is in a convenience store when a gentleman comes in to check his lottery ticket. Turns out his lottery ticket is the winning lottery ticket for the $156 million jackpot. And then our lead character, who is down on his luck, pulls a gun on this guy and basically threatens him, snatches the lottery ticket out of his hand, and then we get into a hostage type scenario where there is a convenience store full of people, and they are all thinking about the best way to take each other out so they can be the ones that end up with the lottery ticket. I know there's a couple in there where the woman is pregnant. You've got like the convenience store owner, the guy that originally had the ticket, and then like the lead character, and there may be some other characters in there that I wasn't quite picking up on. And then there was a shootout. There was like an initial shootout where a couple of people ended up getting gunned down. The premise of it, I think, is interesting. It's just this this concept of all these people being walled up in a convenience store, possibly like the police barricading them in, on the outside because of the shooting that happened, and everybody jockeying for position and trying to figure out who's going to end up walking away with this lottery ticket to change their lives and stuff. Looks very cool. And Angus Cloud is the lead character, Sterling, who kind of starts this whole thing by pulling the gun. And what's interesting about Angus Cloud is that unfortunately he passed away. He passed away very young. I think he was about 25 when he passed. He just died this year, and he had a recurring important role in HBO's series Euphoria with Zendaya, and he seemed to have a very promising career. A little typecast, because honestly his character in this film very much reminds me of his character in that show. But yeah, he seemed like a talented young guy that was coming up in the industry, and unfortunately he passed away earlier this year. But obviously this is something that was filmed and then canned for a while, and then with everything going on, I guess now it's seeing the light of day, it seems.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you're iffy about this one, because had you not put it in your picks, it would have been in my honorable mentions.
Okay.
It premiered at Fantastic Fest as well, and it got, as far as I'm aware, I had not heard a negative about it, so it seems to be predominantly positive, at least. So, yeah, it sucks when actors pass just as their career starts rolling. But at least the silver lining is you're going out with a bang, I guess.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. I went into it a little bit concerned because it is being distributed by Wellgo, and they have kind of struck me as the distribution company that puts out bad stuff.
I'm not familiar.
Although I gotta say, I think I've watched here recently. I watched a Wellgo film or two, and I'm in the middle of The Tank right now, that horror movie that came out not too long ago. It's a Wellgo film, and honestly, so far it's pretty good. But so I might be kind of misdiagnosing that if it has the Wellgo name on it, that it's bad. So, but yeah, I think the premise alone would have got me through the door just because it sounds good, and then the only thing that takes away from it is I have no clue who Daniel Brown is, the writer-director, and the cast is a who's who of people I don't know, at least by name, and then there's Angus Cloud at the top. So there's not a lot of bona fide like star power here, or people that, like, even in smaller roles or something like that, I can sit there and say, like, I've seen them, pull a performance together that really made a film or something like that. I've never heard of most of these people. So, but yeah, I'm interested to see it. It comes out on November 10th. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be straight to streaming. Maybe a limited release. I'm not actually seeing that anywhere. But yeah, it doesn't strike me as a theater film.
I thought it was, but I'm not sure. One thing that bothers me, and this is a very nitpicky thing, is I like the people that you have a film about people fighting over a lottery ticket. It really goes to show desperation with our current financial climate in the year 2023. But do these characters not seem to take into account that taxes exist? you're not getting all that money.
Right. Yeah.
A massive chunk of that is going to be taken.
Yeah.
And it seemed like in the trailers, the police that were doing the shootout with them were like, "We want that shit too."
Yeah, they were involved. Yeah, you're right.
They don't have that either. Any way you cut it, that's a decent chunk of change. But when you split it between all these damn people, while it might be a nice little bump in your account, it ain't that much.
Yeah.
It's not worth killing people over.
Yeah.
But it looks interesting enough. So I'm down.
Yeah. That's it, man. That's my number 3.
What the fuck is my number 3? Oh, cool.
I need you to explain this one. I need to hear the explanation for this one.
What? Why it's my number 3? Or what it is?
It's in your top 3.
All right, my number 3 is Leo, the Netflix original Adam Sandler iguana movie.
There's so many things that you just said that tells me this is gonna suck.
I put it there because Adam Sandler and his filmography, all that Happy Madison shit, even the trash, is like comfort watches for me. Okay. It's stuff that I grew up watching. It's stuff that I could sit there and watch with friends. It's something I could sit there and watch in the background while I'm doing other shit.
Mm-hmm.
Except for there's one that really fucking made me want to punch a baby. But you should probably censor that. I shouldn't have said that. It was Grown Ups 2. Yeah.
Grown Ups 2.
Yeah, that was one of the worst things I've ever seen. But outside of that, I love that. I quote to this day some of his films.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm a big 8 Crazy Nights fan. I quote Billy Madison like crazy. So
look, there's part of me that gets, because like I love Billy Madison and I love Happy Gilmore and stuff like that. But there was a cutoff there. There was a cutoff where it's like everything that comes out now that features Adam Sandler that's not Hotel Transylvania. I don't think I'm in. You
don't like Hustle or Uncut Gems?
I haven't seen Uncut Gems.
I haven't seen either of those, so I don't know why I'm poising you.
I love how that's your argument. You haven't even seen it.
I just know they were well received.
Yeah, Uncut Gems look great. I haven't seen it.
Look, you don't want to see Bill Burr as Squirtle the Tortoise. That doesn't interest you at all?
I mean, yeah.
You don't want to see Adam Sandler playing a very unusually small classroom iguana, because iguanas are fucking big, and that's a tiny-ass iguana for being like 75 or whatever.
You had me at the Bill Burr playing a tortoise part, but I don't think I need to watch a whole 90-minute Adam Sandler movie to get that.
And I'll justify it further. When we make our top 3 of the month, it's what are we most looking forward to? And I got this trailer when I was watching something on YouTube with my wife, and when that came out and he started going back to school, referencing his old shit, I went, we need to see that.
Okay.
So, and I didn't do that with anything on my honorable mentions. Those are all things that I'm going to get to eventually. I know damn well this month I'm going to sit in bed watching this fucking iguana be a father to these random school children.
And again, I should take it easy on this film, because I'm sure it's one that like I could sit down with my little ones and they would get some enjoyment out of the funny lizard. You know what I mean?
It's directed by, and forgive me in advance for me butchering these names, Robert Smigel. That's a hard name to have. Robert Marionetti and David Wachtenheim.
All right.
There's a lot of multi-man directing movies nowadays. A lot of teams.
Yeah, like Brother Pairs, or like the Daniels.
Talk to Me, the Radio Silence.
Right.
There's a lot of them.
God, I keep forgetting the Radio Silence is not. It's a pair of dude.
You think it's a guy named Radio Silence?
No, I just think of it as a production company. I don't think about it as directed by Radio Silence.
Well, Talk to Me was directed by Raka Raka.
Right. I forget that name.
So yeah, it unless you have anything to add.
No, I mean
ripping on it.
I mean, I feel like you get it. I feel like you get it when you watch the trailer. You're just like, yep, it's gonna be this for 90 minutes.
And you know what? I couldn't ask for anything more.
And it's fine.
It comes out on November 21st to Netflix.
Yeah, the animation didn't blow me away. Yeah, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it.
I'll let you know how it is. I'll tell you all about that damn lizard.
Well, dude, I'll probably end up watching it because, you know, the little ones will catch it and be like, we should watch this, and then I'll end up watching it.
Yeah, and you're gonna be like, did you know Bill Burr plays the tortoise? And they're gonna be like, who?
Who's that?
The Thor meme.
Daddy, is Rob Schneider in this one?
Yes.
We can only hope.
Yes, he is.
I assumed so, since they're buddies.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's smart to advertise nowadays. But I'm not going to get into that because, oh boy.
Is he a diddler too?
No, it's just some opinions of his that I won't go into further.
Oh, he's got opinions, does he?
He's got opinions, and he's got a Twitter account. So you take that what you will. That's never a good combination.
I'm gonna take a stance right now. Of all the people I can think of off the top of my head in Hollywood that have no right to tell me their opinion, Rob Schneider's pretty high. Like, you've made a lot of money being the friend of, you know, more famous people. And that's
dude. The most unlikely people are the biggest, like, controversial figures on Twitter. Like, you know who's, like, the real... and you know what? I'll get into this slightly, but I'm not going to go into detail. But you know who's, like, a massive conspiracy theorist nutjob on Twitter?
Who?
Val Venus.
Oh, I have heard that. Fucking Attitude Era mid-Carter Val Venus. Yeah, he's a huge conservative conspiracy theorist guy. Yeah, I have heard that. It's social media is, for better or worse, a fucking interesting place sometimes. It's fucking worse. It is poison. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It is the poison of Earth. But yeah, Rob Schneider, fucking nobody cares. Okay, so sorry. So yeah, you're number 3. Did you say when it was coming out? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving right along, and let's keep it in the animation world, and because Boon has to talk about his kids some more.
That's the name of the pod.
Boon talks about his kids. So my number 2 film that my number 2 release rather. I've been trying to lean into that just so we can work in series or whatever. My most anticipated release of November is the Disney film Wish. And this one looks like it's just going to be fucking huge. It's kind of another... I like how they kind of blended... This looks hand-drawn, but it's also CG. I remember, and this is a weird cut, but I remember the Prince of Persia franchise had like a reboot or a re-release. Not a re-release. It was like a reboot of the franchise in 2010, I want to say. And the art style of that game reminds me of this movie. It's like hand-drawn, but over top of computer-generated images. It's a classic Disney film with songs in it again, talking animals, there's magic involved. You know, your premise is there's a king or a ruler over a kingdom. Yeah, he is the king. And he's able to grant wishes. And there's some sinister element to it where a young, kind of bright-eyed girl comes to the realization that not everything is as it seems with the king and the wishes that he's able to make and stuff like that. Looks funny. Chris Pine plays the king. He seems to be having a lot of fun with the role. Alan Tudyk plays a talking goat named Valentino, who has all the best lines in the trailer. I know my eldest was really, busting up laughing when the goat started talking and stuff like that. So yeah, this is another one where my family and I are super excited to go. We're actually going to the movies twice this month, which is really bizarre. But, with Trolls and now Wish coming out, we're really excited to get out there and peep it out. It's got a $200 million budget, so it's one of these big budget animated films with all the star power you could ask for. The Disney machine keeps on churning, but this one looks more, it's not like a I don't know. It's not like a soulless kind of cash grab or anything like that. I mean, it seems like a movie that's been a long time development, so it looks good. Looks like it's gonna, dominate the Halloween costumes next year, like that kind of thing. So yeah, Disney's Wish comes to theaters. It's gonna be everywhere on November 22nd. It's just another one of these huge Disney animated releases. So I'm in on it, and it's not a what's it called? What the hell's the fucking Spotlight guys?
Pixar?
Pixar, thank you. How the fuck can I not think of Pixar?
The biggest animation studio in the fucking world.
On the planet, yeah. But I can't think of the name. This is actually from Walt Disney Animation Studios. This isn't a Pixar film, so that's why I'm saying it seems to blend this like hand-drawn thing, but there's definitely CGI involved, but it's hand-drawn as well. So anyway, I'm excited just to see a hand-drawn film again, and then getting the songs and stuff like that, and the kids are excited and I'm excited, so it's all just very exciting.
All right, well, let me tell you about this soulless cash grab of a film.
Yeah, give me the cash grab. Tell me about it.
I pretty much have similar feelings to this as you did when I picked Leo, because I'm not crazy about modern Disney films. I didn't care for either Frozen. I didn't care for Strange World was alright, but it's I immediately forgot about it after I watched it.
Yeah.
Haven't seen Encanto or Tangled yet, so I can't speak on them. But I did really enjoy Moana. So yeah, those are my opinions on all the 3D era Disney films. I think that's all of them, as far as I remember.
I think you're crazy you didn't like the Frozen films.
You're in disbelief that a 20-year-plus-year-old man without children didn't like the Frozen movies.
All right, you got me there.
It is the same director as Frozen, so that sucks. For me. But yeah, I'm not a fan of how and to its credit, like you mentioned, it does have some differences. This one appears to be your average run-of-the-mill Disney bullshit that looks exactly like every other Disney film, except for this one looks cel-shaded in a way.
Yeah, that's the word. That's the word I couldn't think of.
So, while it is very samey, at least it has some visual difference, because one of my biggest criticisms about modern Disney is if I cut out any fucking character that's not one of the main characters, they asked you what movie is this from, it could be any of them. Any goddamn one of them. They all look exactly the damn same, and Pixar has that problem, I think to a lesser extent, but it still has that problem. But
I think what you're getting at with the sameness is also what I like about it, because there's like a familiar feeling to this movie where it's like hitting me in that nostalgia place. Like it's a comfortable thing where it's like these are
nostalgic for movies that came out in 2010.
Oh no, like it reminds me of like I don't know. It reminds me of the older Disney animated films. Like it reminds me of the ones I grew up with, and blended with the more recent ones, but I don't know. I think the fact that it's hand-drawn has really just kind of taken over my imagination, because I'm so used to everything being CGI now.
Another thing that I will say to its credit,
like your fucking lizard movie, let me point that
I'm more excited about Leo the Wish. I'll just say that now. But I will admit that while I was gonna watch this movie either way because it's a major release in 2023, and I have completion anxiety if I don't watch every goddamn thing I can get my hands on.
I've heard this.
Well, yeah, as you can see from my fucking 73 2023 film list, and I still got like a shit ton left to go.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
find Josh on Letterboxd, by the way, and check out what he's watching.
I'll promote that another time. I want to get that organized and prim and proper.
Never mind. Don't go. Not until
you didn't say my name on there anyways. It's fine. Follow me eventually. Keep an eye out.
Follow him at Leo Fan.
At Leo's biggest fan. That's gonna be my new gimmick for the fucking Sean Baker arc. I'm just Leo's biggest fan. Iguana lover 23. You know what? Let's make it official. For the duration of the Sean Baker arc, I am Iguana Lover 23.
I gotta call you Iguana Lover 23 until March.
Yes, you do.
Unbelievable.
Woo!
Oh no.
This is fun. I like this show.
I hope so. You've been doing it for almost a year.
What the fuck was I saying? Oh, I will admit, when I did watch the trailer for the pod, because I was just gonna watch the movie blind because I didn't give a shit. It was way more interesting than I expected it to be, because the villain had an insanely, unusually good motivation. Him being the keeper of these wishes and picking and choosing like what deserves to be granted and whatnot.
Right.
That's not necessarily a bad thing. Like think about right now, if everybody in the world's wishes came true right now, not everybody's wishes are in good faith, and some of what people want will, monkeys paw other people into getting fucked over. So, having somebody at the tippy top managing people down below. I'm not advertising pyramid schemes. Let me just put that fucking disclaimer up there. Can be a good thing, and yeah. So I don't think him getting annoyed at our main character, I didn't bother to remember the name of. I don't think that's a strictly heel thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I think this is going to be the first time in some time where I go into a movie, a non-horror movie, rooting for the bad guy.
Yeah.
Because our lead seems like a pain in the ass.
Isn't that what happened in Bruce Almighty, by the way? Like, he just got all these emails about things that people wanted. He just said yes to everything because it was taking
too long. Bitch about my Adam Sandler Iguana movie, and then you're like, I want to see the animated version of Bruce Almighty. You don't have a right to talk, sir.
Look, in the 90s divide of, pick your side. You're either an Adam Sandler guy or a Jim Carrey guy. I clearly went Jim Carrey.
I went very hard Adam Sandler because I Jim Carrey is very hit or miss, and it's usually miss. I'm sorry. I like him in certain things.
Fuck that. When does he miss? I'm trying to think. What's a bad Jim Carrey movie?
I didn't. Ooh, controversial opinion here. I did not like the Ace Ventura movies at all.
Oh, blasphemy.
I very much didn't. In fact, my favorite of all the Ace Ventura movies is the fucking kid one.
Oh.
That was like a direct-to Cartoon Network at fucking 7:45 in the morning type movie.
God. You're hurting me. It's so fucked up that they made a kid version of that. It's like he's like fucking women and like he's fucking Monica.
It's not the kid. Put that up.
Yeah, sorry, no, Jim Carrey's version of Ace Ventura.
I'm not a fan of a lot of his shit.
He catches a BJ as payment for his pet detecting services in that first
Again, not the kid.
Again, not the kid.
He was Dumb and Dumber, right?
Yes.
He was in that? Yeah, didn't like that either.
Oh, come on.
The few things off the top of my head that I did love him in were the Sonic movies and The Mask, obviously.
What about Cable Guy?
Never seen it.
Oh, Cable Guy's a classic.
I'm also the only one person in the entire world that liked Son of the Mask. But that's because I watched it when I was really fucking young. I watched it a couple years back, and I was like, man, I used to love this movie. And then I sat there and I watched it, and then I went for a walk.
Contemplate your life after that. That's one where speaking about The Mask, not the Son of the Mask, but we were, Cody and I were talking about TMNT last 2 weeks. Talk about another comic book property, like where it's not quite what it was when it was a comic. Because from what I understand, The Mask was all fucked up comic. I haven't read it, but
Neither do I. But yeah, it's supposed to be gruesome.
Yeah. Anyway.
Back to Wish.
Back to Wish, yeah. I wish that I didn't take up this much time.
Yeah, I fucking told you we probably gonna have to cut this.
Yeah. So, like I said, comes out November 22nd. It's my second most anticipated film. And yeah, that's it.
Moving right along. My number two. My number two. Well, disclaimer up top. It was really hard for me to pick between my 1 and 2. It was insanely hard, and I'll get into why my number 1 ultimately won over, and it's for a very superficial reason. But anyway,
I know which one I preferred between the two.
Was it not my number 2 or my number 1?
It was your number 1.
Oh. My number 2 is It's a Wonderful Knife. Excuse me, I have to cough. Cool. In case you're wondering why I went silent for a second. Anyway, it is directed by Tyler McIntyre, who did the Gawker segment on VHS 99, which kind of sucked. But he also did the Good Boy movie from Into the Dark, and I've seen all of those films, and I liked Good Boy. It was a comedy horror, which not too a nice chunk of them were, but not all of them. Some of them were straight horror. And yeah, I'm super excited for this. It's got Justin Long in it as the killer. Justin Long seems to be all over the fucking horror sphere lately for some god-known reason. He's in damn near everything I watch. I turn around and Justin Long is there. So he's I wish I remembered that fucking Brock Lesnar bit. I'm in bed with my wife. And Justin Long is there. He's talking about Bobby Lashley. I go to bed with my wife, and then 45 minutes later, Justin Long. That's how I feel about him. But it's part of this little neat little subgenre of horror films that have come out recently, and most of them are Christopher Landon involved.
Mm-hmm.
And they share a little cinematic universe. Happy Death Day, Freaky, Time Cut, which hasn't come out yet, but a movie that has the exact same fucking plot, believe it or not, just did. So that's fun.
What do they call this little subgenre? Do they have a name for it?
I have no idea. I don't even know where it came from. It's something you notice after the fact, because I don't think they were consciously doing it. But they take these older movies, and then they take the basic premise of them, and then they adapt them as horror films. Okay. So with Happy Death Day, they took Groundhog Day, made a fucking horror movie. With Freaky, they took Freaky Friday, made a fucking horror movie. Time Cut's supposed to be Back to the Future, but a horror movie. Which, interestingly, another movie that just came out recently called Totally Killer that has that same premise.
Okay.
And there's a few more. There's plenty that I'm probably forgetting, but it's a very interesting type of movie. Yeah. And something that I probably wouldn't have thought of. Or I would have thought of, but I wouldn't have thought could ever be a thing that people would go out to see.
Sure.
So this is It's a Wonderful Life, but horror. Yeah. The plot involves somebody like, I wish I never survived this massacre or whatever, and the powers that be are like, well, you shouldn't have said that.
Right.
And yeah, you got a nice little Christmas slasher movie. I love holiday horror films. There's a lot of shitty ones, but then we got stuff like this that comes straight to theaters. Like last year, one of my favorite films was it wasn't strictly horror, it was thriller action, but one of my favorite movies of last year was Violent Night with David Arbor.
Yeah. Which we're reviewing in December.
Oh, we're putting that out there. A little teaser.
You're welcome.
So yeah, this looks like it's gonna be great. I like the design of the killer. It's very simplistic, but it works for me. So
it's a little Moon Knighty. I know that you're not a Marvel person.
I am a Moon Knight fan, though.
Get the fuck out! It's so random. Okay, sorry.
Well, I read the comics before there was even word of a fucking adaptation, and that's because of you, sir. You had them when you lived with me.
Okay, that makes sense.
So
it was just random because, like, I know I'm gonna keep interrupting you. I like you've talked on this show numerous times about how you're like, I don't really do the Marvel stuff, whatever, except for like Werewolf by Night, which is to be expected from you. But anytime I bring up Marvel, it's just like, especially in a case like this, I'm like, well, I know that doesn't mean anything to you because you don't follow it. You're like, well, I do like Moon Knight. It's like,
well, see, there's a misconception here. I like comic books. I'm very particular with Marvel because I'm more of a DC guy. It's strictly the MCU that I'm not a fan of.
I got you. Okay. But the DCU sucks.
Oh no, I agree.
Okay.
I just have more investment in those properties, so I feel fucking complied to go see them, and then fucking scowl on their ride home.
Okay. Except Batman, they've been doing well with Batman lately.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on this?
It looks like a lot of fun. This movie looks like fun as shit. Yeah, the killer looks like Moon Knight a little bit. But I also think it's pretty original. Like, I haven't seen, and I think they refer to him as the Angel, if I'm not mistaken. I could have swore I caught like a cop or something refer to him as the Angel, because yeah, the premise is essentially like you said. Lead character effectively says, it'd be better if I didn't exist or something like that. Well, that person is the reason why the killer gets stopped in our current timeline. So then if you remove that person from the world, well, then the killer never got stopped on that night. And so when she gets plugged back in to the world, now all of a sudden the killer is still around. And then of course not everybody knows and shit like that. Not everybody knows her is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. Justin Long looks like he is just eating scenery, like doing Willem Dafoe proud. I'm in. I definitely would want to watch this and think we should. I mean, this is booking way in advance, but we should put it in our December lineup for next year.
Yeah, I actually have it on the when it got initially announced before the trailer. I will say up front, I do. Hello, Hero. I have a Screen Sermon podcast mega list for shit for us to pick and choose off of that I made back when I was on another show that we dare not mention because they're not getting fucking free promotion here. But I made stuff that like good to cover list, and I never link it because it is like 3,000 fucking films. Like, it's really pick and choose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I put this on there immediately back when it had the fucking Michael Myers poster.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a adult Scooby-Doo episode movie. It's like if they took a Scooby-Doo holiday episode, they're like, let's make that for adults and fucking 90 minutes long and put it in theater. My only complaint is I wish they didn't tell me up front that Justin Long was the killer.
Yeah, that seemed like a missed opportunity. Unless for some reason,
he's not.
Yeah, like when the timeline changes. Because honestly, I made a little mental note that when the time loop thing kind of happens, I feel like the killer looks like a woman.
That could be the case. I thought I didn't catch that, but I did think, since they're showing this, he's probably not going to be the killer through the whole movie because you kind of fucked yourself out of that reveal.
Yeah.
But I almost spoiled another movie. I'm not going to. I forgot that it came out this year and recently, so moving right along. I wish. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
It looks good though.
Fucking dog ear it for next December, I guess.
Yeah, I think we should throw it in our December lineup for next year. Because it'll probably be on Peacock or something by then.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I mentioned this isn't a small streaming services like I mentioned earlier. and I guess Shudder isn't either because it's AMC, but whatever. Peacock tends to get some big fucking releases that come straight to Peacock.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. I think they get better, like bigger releases than Hulu or Netflix do.
Which makes sense because it's NBC.
But still, it's fucking Peacock.
Yeah. And I will say, it's like you go to Peacock's homepage, and the first 3 films you see, you're like, oh yeah, shit. And then everything after that is fucking horseshit.
I don't know. I tend to find the shit that I already have on my watch list.
Yeah.
That I was gonna like rent or something.
Yeah.
I'll be scrolling Peacock and I'll be like, oh shit, there's the thing I was gonna watch anyway, and then I'll just fucking watch it.
Well, I feel like it's like Five Nights at Freddy's, the Super Mario Brothers movie, Violent Night, and then just like Steven Seagal Under Siege. Or something like that. Something along those lines.
Well, if it's a horror movie, I eat up that low budget nonsense bullshit too. So
yeah.
That's all good for me.
Yeah, that's right in your wheelhouse.
Fucking 75% of my current 2023 list, and I'd go as far as to say probably more than 75% is all horror movies. Dude,
in the last 2 or 3 days, I've been just pounding horror movies. I don't know what it is. I had mentioned to you in the chat, I said I'm playing PS2 and watching horror movies. It just reminds me of being like in my early 20s. And
yeah, just get fucking. Oh, you said early 20s. I thought you were gonna go younger. Yeah, get some fucking Pizza Hut, take a bite of that, realize that it tastes like shit now, and throw it away. It's a good time.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I mean, I watched Infinity Pool, and I watched, Cobweb and The Boogeyman, and kind of all the horror movies that got past me, like over the last 4 or 5 months or something. I've been peeping them out, so it's been a good time.
Yeah, I got my catch-up month is this month in January, and my I'm probably not gonna cover them all, but I have a fucking 200 film watch list, so that is fun. I don't have time to do that shit, but we'll see.
Our calendar is my master list, but I should make an actual list of like when we do these coming soon episodes, I should actually make them on a list and say, well, I said I'm looking forward to them, so I should fucking watch them.
Here's the top 3 films of the month that I'm not gonna fucking watch.
I'm anticipating they're gonna come out. I'm not gonna see them.
I'll hear other things from other people, and I'll go, oh, that sounds about right, and then we'll move along.
Check. I feel like I've seen it.
I'll read the Wikipedia summary, call it a day. We've been ripping on fucking It's a Wonderful Life for quite a while, so I'll end this by saying it releases on No, it don't. It releases on November 10th. It's coming to theaters. I don't know how widespread it's going to be. I would think that it'll be a wide release, but it might be one of those things where I have a pain in the ass trying to find it. I have a pain in the ass. Yes, it's a pain in the ass. It hurts my fucking rear end to find this movie. It is a hemorrhoid of a film.
That should be on the fucking DVD cover art.
Yeah, I can post this hashtag hemorrhoids.
Iguana Lover 23 from Screen Sermon Podcast says it's a hemorrhoid of a film.
That knocked the wind out of me.
All right, so let's round this thing out. So my number 1 most anticipated film of November 2023 is Napoleon, the Ridley Scott directed, Joaquin Phoenix starring biopic, I guess, however you read that, about Napoleon Bonaparte. I know tragically little about Napoleon. I never really paid attention.
I fucking in my notes. I wrote Napoleon Dynamite.
And I'm always so tempted to quote The Incredibles and call him Napoleon Blown Apart, because that's one of their villains at the beginning of that movie.
That's amazing.
It's a French mime who blows shit up. He's like an explosives expert. Napoleon Blown Apart. But anyway. Jeez. Obviously, I'm a Ridley Scott person. I love Alien. Gladiator's an amazing film. So, you know, excited to see his name attached to direct this one. I don't know much about I learned a little bit about Napoleon and world history when I was in school. But outside of that, you know, I haven't retained that information, and B, I don't remember, you know, being influenced or blown away by the story of Napoleon and how cool of a piece of history that was or whatever. But if you want to put together Joaquin Phoenix, who is an actor that I absolutely respect and
doesn't need your help,
and he doesn't need my fucking help, and then you know, you have it directed by Ridley Scott, who's a director that I have a lot of respect for and enjoy his work, and then you stick a fucking, you know, Black Sabbath song over the trailer, which is anachronistic and doesn't really fit in, but I feel like that's a Ridley Scott thing. Yeah, it just, I mean, it looks good. It looks like a big, bombastic, expensive movie. It looks long, too. It looks like it's 157 minutes, so it's 2.5 hours long. This feels like an Oscar movie.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I was about to say, this feels like it's gonna be up for Best Picture. So, and it looks awesome. It looks badass. So, yeah, I'm into it. It's all about his rise to power. Specifically, it says here the premise, through the lens of his relationship with Empress Josephine. So, I don't know who the hell that is. I just know that one scene that they show in the trailer, where she's like trying to give him an upskirt shot, and she's like, if you look down at this, you're never gonna stop wanting it, or some shit like that. And Joaquin Phoenix, like, slowly his eyes go down. He doesn't stop himself from looking at her. So yeah, I just, evidently it's like the kind of behind every great man is a great woman kind of thing. It seems like one of those kind of stories. But yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, it's another one of those most anticipated films of 2023.
Yeah.
It's fucking Ridley Scott, which is great. It's Joaquin Phoenix, which is great. It's visually impressive. It's got some good cinematography, some good color grading. Everything, it looks well shot.
Yeah.
The problem is, and it's the same thing I bitched about with both Killers of the Flower Moon and Oppenheimer, is all these Oscar bait type movies, they seem to have this ongoing trend of them all being 2.5 to 3 hours long, and it's so fucking unnecessary.
Yeah.
You don't need to be long to be a good movie. I don't think Everything Everywhere All at Once was like 3 hours long. Yeah. It might have been, but it sure as hell didn't feel like it. But
I don't think it was.
That's the reason why I haven't seen those two other movies, is because their length puts me off. Because if I'm going to the theaters, if I'm sitting at home watching it on streaming, which by the way, neither of those are on digital yet, so it's another reason I haven't watched them.
Right.
If I'm at home, I can pause it. I can go take a piss, get a fucking snack, put my fucking bonbons in my fat ass mouth, and sit there and watch it. But hashtag bonbons again.
How do you always bring those up?
I don't know. They're the quintessential fat people food to me.
I always think of them as the
I don't even know what the fuck they are, I'll be honest.
it's a very like outdated reference, of course, but I always think of them as like the the lonely housewife. You know, the guy goes off to work at his office job, and the housewife stays home and just kind of takes care of the house, and then she ends up sitting on the couch eating her bonbons. I feel like that's what's always referenced. I feel like specifically it was like a Married with Children thing, like Peg was at home.
I thought those were turtles.
I mean, you know what? I'm looking at bonbons on fucking Wikipedia. That's what this show has turned into. It's turned into fucking Unwrapped with Mark Summers. A bonbon is a small chocolate confection, and it shows a little like Valentine's candy tray, like one of the chocolate trays. So that is a bonbon.
Turtles is fucking Rochelle from Everybody Hates Chris. Every sitcom wife has their fucking candy of choice, I guess.
So yeah, that's a bonbon.
But if I'm at home, I could pause the fucking movie. If I'm in the theaters, you could sit there and you could take a piss beforehand, and you could sit there and you can watch it and you could try to make it out. But if you're with somebody and they want popcorn and everything, you're eating a salty shit, and then they give you a fucking gallon of liquid, and you can't get a gallon of just fucking straight up water. You have to get soda or juice or lemonade. So I'm just bitching now. I picked the lesser of all the evils, and I get fucking 0-calorie Pepsi Max because I don't want all that sugar and calories and bullshit in me. So I'm sitting at the theaters with a fucking bathtub full of popcorn and a fucking oil drum full of fucking Pepsi. And
on a bathtub of popcorn.
When I get fucking 90 minutes in, where my body's like, okay, movie over, it turns out I'm only halfway through this bitch, and I have to piss. And that puts me off of seeing these fucking things in the theaters, which is the ideal way to see a movie, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
I'm rambling, but fucking stop making your movies so goddamn long, because more often than not, it's not needed.
Well, and what I would like to see happen is the return of the intermission.
That would be fine, but from what I read, theaters can't make that call because it's altering the film.
Just pausing it?
Yes, because that's not how it's meant to be watched.
Oh. Okay.
Meanwhile, fucking Tenet had an event where you could watch that shit in Fortnite, so you could go to this fucking lobby and watch Tenet while people are fucking flossing and doing the crab dance and the robot and shit. In retrospect, I would have loved to fucking have that experience. I hope they do it again. But yeah, I want to see this. I really want to see it, but I'm not seeing it in theaters. And fucking make your shit shorter.
I'm probably not seeing it in theaters either. Like I said, I'm already going to the theater twice this month, and that's to see family films. So I don't see me making it a third time to see Napoleon.
Yeah, I'd love to fucking be a fly on the wall for you, going up to your wife and kids and being, hey, would you like to go spend 3 hours at the movie theater watching the Napoleon Bonaparte?
You did it again.
Yes, Joaquin Phoenix is Napoleon Dynamite.
Version versus version, Napoleon versus Napoleon Dynamite.
Let's bookmark that for fucking April Fool's Day. Anyway. I'm only half joking, too.
Yeah, me too.
I'll watch it when it comes to Apple Plus, because they have a fucking deal with Apple Plus, who I guess produced the movie, that it's getting a theatrical run, and then it's coming to Apple Plus. And by the way, I lied. I'll watch it via some digital means. I'm not getting fucking Apple Plus. Who the fuck has Apple Plus?
I do.
Do you?
I think so.
Why?
I don't know. Ask my wife. But I think I have it.
Fucking Apple sponsorship now.
I want to say she got it because she wanted to watch Morning Show with Jennifer Aniston. And we just still have it.
Their entire fucking user base is people who forgot to cancel.
It's 100% why we still have it. If we still have it, that's why. But isn't and we're getting off track here, but that's kind of the nature of these episodes. Isn't Monarch Legacy of Monsters an Apple TV show? Apple TV Plus show?
I have no idea.
I thought you would know this because this is like your jam. You love
I don't actually have that much information on that, honestly, in general. I don't know if it just wasn't promoted that much, but or maybe it's because TV shows tend to slide past me. Because I have to fucking rewatch the slasher Netflix show, which it's a horror anthology, much like American Horror Story, but they're all strictly slashers.
Okay.
Anyway, I've only seen the first season, and that impressed me back in 2016, I want to say. But Slasher Ripper, which evidently is, I think, the fifth season of the fucking show, came out back in March. Okay. And I was like, well, shit, I guess I gotta watch that show. I gotta catch up on American Horror Story. I just finished Wreck. I didn't fucking like it.
I told you I made it through the first episode, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to watch this."
I said, "Oh, this is fine by me. I could deal with it." And then it's fucking cut to me at the end of the night. This isn't fine by me. I couldn't fucking do it.
This isn't fine by me at all.
It would have been just fine if it was a fucking 90-minute movie about a duck killer, but on a gay cruise ship or whatever.
Hashtag duck killer.
Hashtag gay cruise ship. Hashtag Pride Month. Hashtag water off a duck's back.
Hashtag bonbons.
Hashtag hemorrhoid. It's a hemorrhoid of a movie. It was a hemorrhoid of a show. It was a pain in the ass to sit through because I was already like tapped out. I had 3 episodes left, and I was like, "Fuck."
That's a long time, and those are hour like 45-minute episodes.
I spent all day binging that fucking show, and I hated my life. That fucking, I was done.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of slashers. Oh wait, Napoleon comes out on the 22nd.
Yes, same date as Wish, so I'll be there to see Wish, and Napoleon will be across the hall or whatever.
Napoleon Dynamite will be playing.
Napoleon Dynamite. John Heater is across the hall. He has nothing better to do but tear tickets at my local theater.
So, my number 1 for November is Thanksgiving. The reason why it was a toss-up between this and It's a Wonderful Knife.
I think you made the right decision.
I wanted to see both pretty bad, and unfortunately, I'm already going to the theaters twice because my wife ended up ultimately. Our October was super busy, so we didn't get out to the theaters other than to see Saw 10 at the beginning of the month, which is a September release. So she's picking Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I'm picking this.
Okay.
So, and that's because I'm fucking plumb out of Thanksgiving horror movies just about. Every year, a bunch of low-budget Christmas horror movies come out, and there's God knows how many Halloween ones. But I've pretty much run out of Thanksgiving horror movies. So I'm very glad that this came out. Because I think the only one I have left is Christie, because I've seen both of the Into the Dark ones. Pilgrim is fantastic, and it's my favorite of those. I'd highly recommend. Thanksgiving I've seen. Thanksgiving 3 I have unfortunately sat through. There's plenty more. Home Sweet Home, fucking Blood Rage. Yeah, I've pretty much exhausted my supply. So I'm big thumbs up to everybody who's still making Thanksgiving horror movies. Because the last year I had to watch fucking Amityville Thanksgiving with a budget of what seemed like $5 and a hand job, and yeah, so please make more. I'm begging you.
Yeah.
And another interesting thing is this, which is also well shot, by the way. The cinematography in this looks pretty good too.
It looks really slick. Yeah.
Which apparently is a little controversial because I haven't seen this started out as a trailer in Grindhouse.
Really?
Yeah, Grindhouse was 2 movies, and then it had some trailers for fake movies in there, and this was
the Werewolf Women of the SS, and I remember
Thanksgiving was one of them.
No shit.
Yeah, so this is the film adaptation Eli Roth has been trying to make for so many years of that fictional trailer. And it's really interesting that it started in Grindhouse because the fucking I think there was a Machete trailer in that too.
Yes.
Which means this by proxy connects to fucking Spy Kids by way of Machete.
Amazing.
So yeah, that's a little interesting connection, and it does my favorite fucking thing in the world about holiday slashers, and it makes the kills fun. It incorporates all the shit you'd expect. Unfortunately, there's a line in the trailer that says the weapons he's using are straight from the Thanksgiving table, which I wish please cut that out of the main movie, because I can fucking see that.
Right.
What do you think I'm going, motherfucker? You don't need to spell it out for me. It's called Thanksgiving. It's not, and it takes place on Black Friday, by the way, the day after.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, the kickoff of the movie is there was this big, I don't know if it was a massacre, but some event happened, an unfortunate event, a riot on Black Friday,
Okay.
and there's a killer out for revenge, which is fine because Black Friday movies, and there's a few, the horror movies, you know, it's a day after, so fuck it. But yeah, it looks fun. I got to watch fucking corn skewers used as a weapon, which is always something I used to fuck around with at the Thanksgiving table. So I'm happy to see them murdering somebody.
I will say that they talk about how the implements he uses are right from the Thanksgiving table, and then the next shot they show this big ass like mallet with like a jagged head to it, and I'm just like, I don't remember that being at my table. She's like, what was that even for?
Meat tenderizing, which you don't do to a turkey.
Right. I've never beat the shit out of a turkey before I eat it.
Well, maybe we'll try it this time.
I've
smacking your fucking bird around.
I've definitely had like a deep fried turkey.
Have you?
I have.
God damn, I've always wanted to try that, but I'm sure as shit ain't doing it myself.
But I've never tenderized a turkey.
A poultry, just beat it until it's fucking flat. Yeah, it's not any fucking highbrow Oscar. Well, it's horror, so it ain't going an Oscar anyway.
No.
It's not highbrow. It's not fucking anything you got to sit there and analyze. Nope. If you like watching people die in fun ways, you want to turn your brain off and have some fun, this is that type of movie, and that appeals to me like crazy.
Yeah, so, I mean, you're not going to be digging into this for analogies and metaphor, or how it ties back to, you know, Longfellow and you know, oh, that's a literary reference. It's none of that. It's just meat and potatoes slasher film.
Literally.
Yeah. God damn it. Yep, turn a phrase there, folks. Yeah, I mean, it's what you're coming here because this is the kind of movie you wanted to see, and I think you grew up on slasher films. I grew up on slasher films. You know, they are the movies that made up so much of my time. Took up so much of my time when I was younger, and so again, there's a familiarity to it, and it just hits me right in the spot where I'm just like, I'll definitely watch a guy in a different kind of costume just kill a bunch of, co-eds or whatever. It's just
watch a fucking pilgrim running around killing people with fucking turkey legs and shit.
I'm in. Yeah, it's like you said, turn your brain off and just enjoy it for a while. So I'm all about it.
Yeah, this is the premise of this is what I assumed Pilgrim was going to be going into it. And Pilgrim surprised the shit out of me by being different. And I won't spoil that because I want everybody listening to watch it, including you if you haven't.
I haven't seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. So watch fucking Pilgrim. It's
when I finish The Tank, I'll watch Pilgrim.
And that's not to say the other Into the Darks aren't good.
Yeah.
But this is like marginally better than all of the other ones.
When I know some of them are quite bad, from what you've told me.
I don't think any of them I've said this is the worst thing in the world.
No,
but they're just not good. They're like, this is starting to lose my attention. This is I don't give a fuck cut movies.
Well, like you said Grim Cuddy sucked, didn't you?
That wasn't Into the Dark. That was just straight to Hulu standalone separate thing.
Oh, I got it. I'm combining those as the same thing. Okay.
Well, they're all Hulu originals, so that's it makes sense.
It's a fair thing that I'm doing.
Yeah, fucking The Body was alright.
I liked that one. Yeah.
Have you watched? What other ones have you watched?
I don't fucking remember. There was one that was, I think it was a Thanksgiving one that first year where it was like,
the agoraphobia one. Fucking, I forget what the fuck it's called.
Isn't it something like blood? Something about blood.
Yeah, I don't know. Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, Flesh and Blood. There you go. Yes, that was good, or it was fine. I don't remember having any problem with it. Yeah, I don't remember which ones.
I sucked upon my first watch, and then when I went back and Puka's surprisingly deep to a degree, whereas there's a lot going on under the surface. I wouldn't say it's like fantastic, but the first time you watch it, if you just take it for what it is, you'll be like, oh, that was whatever the fuck. It was some artsy random bullshit. And then upon your second watch, after it's fucking spelled out to you by someone else who's already watched the film, because that's what happened to me. I'm not going to pretend that I went into Puka a second time looking for shit to analyze.
Yeah.
But when I heard somebody else who had seen it go, oh yeah, this is what's happening. I went, oh, well, shit. I wish that they made that clearer, because it made my second watch a lot better.
Did they make a sequel out of that?
Yes, it was really fucking annoying, because when I was looking for their second April one, because they first year they did different. They did April Fool's Day the first year for April.
Sure.
The second year I was like, okay, well they'll do Easter, and they did fucking Puka Day, which is their own made up holiday, which is not included in Happy Holidays, which you could buy at the link below.
Amazing.
Yeah, you like that shit?
That's amazing.
It was like a pseudo Easter, and then it didn't have a third season, but it wasn't ever officially canceled. It just didn't have any more episodes. Actually, it had 2 more after COVID fucked them up.
Yeah.
And then I have not heard a damn thing since, and Jason Blum went on to fuck around with Five Nights at Freddy's. So I don't know what's going on with that. I assume it's dead forever.
Yeah.
And Easter can go fuck itself. So
Fair enough. By the way, I feel like that was the first ad read without being an ad read on Screen Sermon.
I didn't plan that.
First time we ever plugged anything.
We plug Tubi every episode.
That's true. They didn't even ask us to. We're just doing it.
We plug shit all the time.
Yeah.
You just don't realize it. We plug Bon like fucking 10 times now.
That's true, but we usually do it within the context of an fucking bonbons. We usually do it within the context of an episode. That one was like literally you stopped talking about what you were talking about so that you could do an ad read for a product. That's the first time we've ever done that.
Okay, well, counter argument. Every episode of Screen Salmon for the past month or so has had hashtag McDonald's Hot Apple Pie attached to it, which I still won't explain. You'll find out later.
It's like an Easter egg.
Oh, there we go.
Did you just call it Screen Salmon? Because I don't appreciate that.
I don't know. I called it steamed salmon earlier.
I heard that. I was going to point that out too. Steamed salmon.
That wasn't planned either. I fucking meant to say screen and I said steamed. So off the cuff, I just fucking picked something else that fit the alliteration.
Well, I don't appreciate Screen Semen. Because we know what that is.
A stream of semen podcasts.
The stream of semen.
Thanksgiving, by the way.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. When does that come out?
I don't know. I didn't write it down, but I'm pretty sure it's the 17th of November. Off of memory.
Before Thanksgiving, ironically enough.
I wish it would have came out earlier in the month, honestly, because it's coming out the same day as Hunger Games: Songbirds and Snakes.
Ooh.
I have to wait until the end of the month to catch both of my November movies, which kind of sucks. But I could watch fucking Leo at home, so... No, I can't. It comes out the 21st.
Oh.
I'll go fuck myself for the first half of November, and then I'll be back at the end of the month to watch these 3 fucking movies.
I can confirm that November 17th, Thanksgiving is coming out.
Yeah, I'm good with dates.
Yeah.
You
are good with dates.
Through a combination of both the ongoing strikes, which may have a resolution by the time this episode comes out.
That would be good.
The wishful thinking. And the fact that we're in the season of where everyone unloads their bullshit in the theaters. We're going to have slim pickings till probably February.
Well, we end up talking about everything but our actual picks anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, there's some cool shit coming out in December. And you're going to be pissed because everything you're looking forward to I already took. So, we'll get to that in a month.
There's one thing we like to do here at the Steam Salmon podcast. It's just to fuck Boone over, so he's got to pick from the doldrums of whatever films are released.
I call that the kill list rule. This is my number one. Oh, you want to see it? No, absolutely not. I don't give a fuck about the kill list.
Are you kidding me? I'm not watching this.
So
I'm also proud of us. Not that I expected it from you at all, but
all right, fuck me.
We talked about I'm proud of you for other reasons, but not. I guess it's from me specifically. I'm always picking the big ass releases. I feel like that's usually my role on this show.
I pick the fucking horror movies. That's our dynamic.
Right. That's right.
Get fucking Cody in this.
I'm fucking
nothing for him because we took everything.
I'm the white bread guy that picks I'm gonna go see Oppenheimer, and then you're the person that's like, and these are the cool horror movies that are coming out.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that you did not pick the Marvels.
Yes, that's what I was getting at. I'm very proud that Marvels are only being mentioned just now, and it's because that movie looks like shit.
I expected it to be at least on your honorable mentions.
Nope, not excited to see it at all. Not even a little bit.
What the fuck? Oh. Sorry. There's things going on in my end. I'll tell you after the show. Oh, you know what? I don't fucking mind saying it on air. I had a ladybug stuck to my ass. Hashtag ladybug stuck to my ass.
Ladybug stuck to my ass.
Sorry, it's a ladybird beetle. It's orange. I apologize for my incorrect ass bug identification.
Jesus, I don't know who's going to be
Hashtag ass bug.
I don't know who's going to be coming through the woodwork in order to call you out on that, because I have no fucking clue what that is.
Well, it's if I wasn't fucking...
Okay, you just sent a picture. That's not a ladybug?
No. Look, we're not going to get into this. I'll just say, if it wasn't for the fact that I already took Iguana Fan 23 earlier in the podcast, my name would be Assbug for this season.
Jesus, I'm glad that joke happened first.
Oh yeah, we for anyone that noticed a little bit of cut there, I had to take a breather.
Had to take 5.
So my final note, I guess, is if you're wondering why the fuck I said Joaquin Phoenix doesn't need our help, you should go back and listen to our first coming soon for April, where that joke originated.
Yeah, we haven't brought it up in a while.
Yeah, I imagine somebody watching this for the first time is like, why fuck Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah, why was it so funny to those guys? Because he doesn't need our help, and we should be reminding people of that every month, and I keep forgetting to bring it up.
And I keep forgetting to bring up the fact that Boone needs to watch House.
Yep. you know what that'll take. So the Oscars are coming in March. If you can outpick me at the Oscars, I will watch whatever film.
I'm just going to pick everything that has over a 2.5 hour runtime, and I'll probably get them all right.
That's a solid strategy.
And Past Lives, which I have not fucking seen or heard anything about other than people really liked it.
Yeah, I have nothing. I know nothing.
I don't know shit about that. I didn't hear anything about it before its release. I heard it was widely received after its release, but I didn't hear anything about the plot, or I didn't hear anybody talking about it. I just heard reviews of it being like 5 stars and everything.
Yeah. So,
sure. Fuck it.
So speaking of reviews, please give us some feedback out there, people. I mean, I would love to hear from people. We all would love to answer questions or respond to your criticism or your your praise. Obviously, we would love that. Or any kind of movie recommendations or suggestions or arc ideas, things like that. I'd love to hear all these things. So please reach out to us. You can reach us at Screen Sermon on X. You can reach us at, obviously in the comments here on YouTube. And you could also reach us at screensermonpod@gmail.com. So any of those things that you wanted to send, you can find us through one of those means. We respond to everybody and love to receive comments and messages. So please reach out to us, help us grow the show, spread the word, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. If you just happen to find us randomly, subscribe to the channel. That's obviously going to help get more ears, really, I guess, get more ears on the show. But yeah, I mean, I really appreciate you all coming and listening to us ramble on about what movies we may or may not be seeing in the theater this month. And Josh, it was nice to have you back. I'm sorry that Riverside is having some difficulties, so that kind of fucked you out of the TMNT recording.
That's all right. I was just gonna shit all over the fucking second one anyway.
Yeah, we did a thorough job. So with that, although I guess people can't really catch all of it because I had to cut half of it off anyway, so it really was doomed from the start. So yeah, with that in mind, folks, this is the Boon, and thanks again, Josh, for being with me today. And we look forward to starting what we're basically calling season 3, as the Sean Baker arc kicks off with Starlet next week. So we'll look forward to talking to you folks then.